To tell you the God's truth, I was told by the big minister, they are my family and my wife and children as the enemy.
So in the introduction, they were like not saying this is your wife.
This is my wife, but they become their so funny. I felt my mind was free. It's the first time for many, many years I felt freedom.
Inspired, informing nations, supporting people in real, effective deliverance.
A pleasant good day, everyone. Welcome to the DRM Inspired Talk Show. It's a talk show where we inform nations, support people in real, effective deliverance. Today we continue our series on an awesome couple. We have been interviewing an awesome couple, and we are going to highlight their life that surrounds forgiveness, the mercies of God, the redemptive power of God, and these things, but most of all, forgiveness. What it is to forgive and the power of forgiveness. And today I have with me Deliverance Minister Abidh Ramkissoon. The man himself, man. Good day, Brother Ramkissoon. How are you?
Well, by the grace of God, alright?
You're good. It's nice to have you, man.
Amen.
This is a real
Amen.
partner, man. I love him dearly.
Amen.
And he has become a real pillar in our ministry, and you would know why and you would understand why in a bit. So, Brother Ramkissoon, tell us something about yourself.
Oh. Well, my name is Abidh Ramkissoon.
Right?
I'm a minister, a deliverance minister in the DRM ministry for a few years now.
It's approximately 5 years now.
Yes.
4.
4 years now. And in this ministry, I have learned and discovered that mankind, that they could be in bondage and don't know. They are going through curses in their life and they don't know. And these are the stumbling block of one that who believe on Jesus Christ. These are the ones who just believe on Jesus Christ. Sometimes, you just praising God and glorifying God, but there is no breakthrough. None at all. But thanks be to God for deliverance ministers. Thanks be to God for deliverance, to deliver those that are in bondage and to set mankind free. Free from sins, free from generational curses, free from sins that we have committed way back, where the enemy has used those doors to enter when we feel things is alright and things is doing nice and there is no breakthrough. There is still bondage and setback in life.
And walls.
And wars in life. We want to know what's really going on. It's not because we don't love God. It's because we love God and we do not know.
And we don't see what's going on.
Yes, we do not know and see what's taking place in this life.
So guys, we will understand why Minister Ramkissoon is speaking this way. Right? Brother Ramkissoon, folks may be wondering how you became a part of the DRM ministry. Now, it is not that Derek Mason had choose you, right?
No.
We getting that point clear.
No.
But we understand now, you and I understand now that God chose you,
Amen.
right? But give us the story how you got to connect with the DRM Deliverance and Restoration Ministry.
How I managed to be connected is because through my wife. At the time, we were not living a one-in-one. For many, many years, we were not living a one-in-one.
When you say one and one, what you mean? Like in agreement?
In agreement, in, in love, in the oneness of marriages. It was not there. It just disappeared. It just disappeared. And because of my wife was listening to the program on the TV. She listened to this program, the DRM ministry program on the TV. Not on the, TV, on the radio.
Yeah.
And there she realized that she can get help. She could get this minister to pray for us. And we may have a breakthrough in this life that I'll be able to come back to my wife and come back to my senses. And come back like the way we were before. And she have asked me to come up to Shaguanas where the ministry is. But she never told me where I was going and who I was going to meet. Never told me.
She said, come let me go for a drive.
Come let me go. She had to drop something.
Right.
For a friend. And she really took up something in her hand to carry. And there, when I reached Shaguanas, I was on the pavement standing. And there where I met two persons. I never knew the name. After I knew the name was Prophet Derek Mason and his wife, Sister Rachel. We just greet one another. They accept the gift that the wife carried. And we went back home. And another day, my wife said she had something to carry. So I said, okay, when I get the time and I've been released somewhere I was,
right,
we will go. But eventually to be released somewhere I was, I really had was to sneak out and let those people know that where I was going at all. Could not let them know I was going because my rights was taken away. My freedom was taken away. I was like I was in a cage.
We'll get there just now, right? So the second time when you came to drop off what your wife had bought, say that she was bringing for us. What happened the second time?
What happened? We did not see them on the outside. She said we have to go upstairs in the building to meet them and go. Will you go with me? I want you to come with me. And I went upstairs. And when I went upstairs there, I saw Prophet Derek Mason. I didn't know his name at the time. He was having a session ministering to a group of people. So I was upstairs already and they received whatever we give out to them. I joined the class. I just sat and joined the class without invitation.
That's the orientation that we are accustomed to.
Yes. And in that orientation, I heard about open doors in life. I heard about generational curses. I heard about failures in life. And it drew my attention. I listened to it. And when that class was over, I went back home.
What happened when you went back home?
When I went back home, I just enjoyed what they say. I just get my attention what they were saying. So one day the wife asked me, she said, look, we want to go and we'll ask them to pray for you. I said, no problem. I went. I joined back the same class. I was ministered to, and then I received deliverance. After I received deliverance, I felt that I came out of a cage. I felt my mind was free. It's the first time for many, many years I felt freedom and know what is freedom. I felt so happy, and that was the best thing ever happened to me in this life. One of the best things that ever happened to me in this life. I began to think on my own. Before I was like a robot from where I was before. I was controlled.
Because some persons may not understand to the depths when you said for the first time you have been free. And you may have heard him said earlier on, he had was to ask permission to go, not ask permission rather, but he had was to sneak out.
Sneak out.
In order to go with his wife to drop what she wanted to drop for us, right?
Right.
And at that time, I believe that was the time when your wife, Sister Ramkissoon, used to communicate with me via the phone and these things, and she said she wanted to drop something.
Yes,
right?
I didn't know that
Right.
there was a communication.
Right. And you had was to sneak out from where you are at. Where were you that you had to sneak out from? Describe to us.
Well, I was with a minister and his wife and his children. How I managed to know them? I was attending to a church revival time assembly. And there all my children was going to revival time assembly in Dyer's village. And my brother told me that he have a church Sanko Road. Come and pay him a visit, and I went and paid him a visit. But the service was so wonderful and so beautiful. I began to like the people, and it was very friendly. They didn't accept me, but they didn't accept me there and show me real, real great love. So off and on, my brother used to invite me to go, and I will choose to go. And there was a white man preacher by the name of Steve. Somehow or the other, I didn't like this person. And then I took my wife and children, and then when I go to visit, and we find ourselves going to that church, a wonderful place. But in that place, there was a young man who got sick. And that young man, the eyes began to fold up, and his only white of his eye could have been seen. And he began to get stiff and lengthen out. He lie down, he can't sit, he can't bend. He was just straight like a rod. And I remember joining with these church people to pray for this guy. I believe it's 3 days and 3 nights praying for this guy. And things were getting worse. Apparently like he was going to die. This was the appearance. So his wife asked me, he said, I know someone could help us. Could we go to them? Will you take me to them? I said, yes, I will take you. I went by the person home, and I took him up bodily. And I carried him by the car, but He can't sit up. He was straight and stiff. So I opened the door, wind on the glass, put him inside the car, put his rifles inside, and his feet was outside the window. But by direction I went to look for these people. And we have reached this place. And when I reached the place, I saw two people. Two young persons. I know the name. Because the wife said, this is the name and there where they live. So I know the name. So I say, so and so lives here. They say, yes. They say, what's the problem? I say, well, the problem in the car. They say, bring the problem and come. I take up the bag and I carry them under the house. But I can't put him down. They have their furniture, I can't put them, lie down on people's furniture.
Yeah.
So I say, this man can't sit up, you know. So they say, put him anyhow now, so I put him lie down on people's furniture. The man introduced himself as a minister, his wife. So we talk a little, not much. So he went by the guy who was sick, and he just rested his hand on his finger. And he said a short prayer. Maybe in silence you couldn't hear much of what he said. And eventually this guy who was in the dying mode get up and sit up, began to smile, like nothing ever happened to this man. So he asked the man, he said, so what you does do for a living? He said, well, as a mechanic. He said, well, my car not started. Something wrong with the carburetor. So the young man said, okay, I will fix it, but I need tools. I said, I have tools because I want to take the box of tools and everything. In no time at all, this man take down that carburetor and fix it. He was a good mechanic. And after that, the car started, we left and I went home. I went to work 7 to 3, working petrol trip. And during the course of the work, I said, Lord, what it is we didn't do right? What more that we should have done for this guy? I said, look, I want to go and find out what really happened. What that man did. Because I love the Lord thy God with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my strength. I love God so much. So when I see this miracle took place, I say, I want to know these people, I want to know what they did. Not knowing it was a mistake in my life I was going into. I went back after work another day. They welcomed me in their house. I sat. Nice greetings. The man looked at me. He said, you want to serve God? Do you love God? I said, I love God. He said that the Lord said that I was called to walk with Him.
You were called to work with them?
To work with them. And I have agreed because I have seen miracles happen. And after that I start to go after work, before work. I used to go, keep on going. We used to go and do a little service here and there, service here and there. We never had a church. Praying for people, praying for the people who possessed with demons. Things start to work nice. And during that course of time, I felt that all I have known is them. All I have could see is them. When I wake up in the morning, as I get 7 o'clock, brush my teeth, whether I have food or I don't have food, I change my clothes and I go on by them. I used to
That,
spend
that,
the
was
whole
on,
day.
that was on certain days or
No,
before work?
every single day.
Like before I go to work and
No,
stuff?
like if I walk in 7 to 3, after work I will go there.
Right.
If I walk in 3 to 11, I will go there 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. If I walk in 11 to 7, I'll spend the whole day there and I come home 7, 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock in the night if I go to work 11 to 7. Now, I begun to love this place. I begun to love these people. I begun to walk with them. And so I continued for about 22 to 25 years there.
That's a very long time, but what have you, now you were fascinated by the way that the guy got healed, right? And you were wondering, what are you missing? What you are missing, because you know you love the Lord, all your heart, your mind, your soul, and you want to find out, like, you know, what I'm missing because of what you saw, right? You saw a guy just come back and like he come back normal when they know he was stiff and these things. So they welcome you with open arms. They said that you were supposed to work with them, right? But in working with them, right? What type of ministry did you do for that length of time?
Well, as the man said, I was called to serve God with him. He also told me that God did not call him to work. So any needs or anything that he required, I will have to get it.
You had us meet his needs.
Meet his needs, and he will meet his family needs. And there, I thought with my heart that I was serving God. I was a finance support to them. I was a laborer to them. I was a servant to them. I was a slave to them. Not knowing that I enter into bondage. Not knowing I would enter into something that I can't come out. If sometime I feel to leave and don't go back, I will leave. But I have to go back.
Alright, let's take it one at a time, right? Let's take the financial support. In what way were you financially supporting them? Is it when you get paid, you would pay your tithes to the ministry, or you would give a love gift? How was that?
No, and it wasn't tithes and it wasn't a love gift.
Mm-hmm.
They will say, well, the person now, maybe I don't know, they was controlled by a different force maybe. And that force, that spirit is to speaking.
Right.
And he said that what to do and how much to give. So it become unnatural now that I had also, I didn't mind giving.
Right.
Because I serving Jesus, I serving God, that was I thought, and that was in my heart. So everything I've done, I do it to the honor and to the glory of God the Father.
So in a nutshell, they will say,
in a
if
nutshell,
this
I
amount
should
that
give
you...
them money, let me say about a 4,000 a month. And then the next thing again, I began to take loans, and I began to take loan. In one bank, I had 2 loans.
And who the loan
I
was
should be
for?
paying $3,000 a month in 2 loans.
For
Plus
them?
credit union for them, because when I take the loan, I give it to them. I was serving God. And that go on so for years. For years. Every time a loan reach halfway, I used to go back and take a next loan on one. And back again. And I did that for so many years. My loan packages in the bank, my file was thick like that. But what happened, a loan officer was my friend. And whatever I go for, 100,000, she will give it to me. 75,000 she will give it to me. And this is the type of money I used to borrow all the time. Soon as a load kind of a finishing, a next one appear, a next one and a next one and a next one. But the salary now, out of my salary, I used to only give my wife $2,000. I'm a father of 5 girls and 1 boy.
6 children.
6 children. But that $2,000, the wife says, this enough, this only to pay lights bill and take me groceries properly. I never used to take her to the grocery. Very few times I get the opportunity to carry her in the grocery. When she buys the groceries, she look for the cheapest thing to buy. She buying back and neck. Just to support, just to live, and then by my absent for many days, most of the time I go in the morning, I come back late in the night. For many, many days I was never around. My children began school. I believe it's only twice I see them in a uniform. Because I leave in the house before they go to school and I'm coming back late in the night.
So at this point in time, this juncture, when you started going to this church, this ministry, you had all 6 children already?
Yes, all
Right.
6 children. The last one was a year old or 2 years old.
And how far along your marriage was?
Well, I was absent from that.
No, like
In mind and in thought.
how many years were you into marriage then? About 6 years, 7 years, 8?
About 15 years. How many years? About 15 years.
Oh, 15 years marriage.
Marriage.
Okay. So you actually got in touch with, and then that's when were you prior to that, were you always home with your family and these things before that?
I was never there on the birthday. I was never there on the children's birthday. I was never there on the wife's birthday. I was never there to take them to a beach to nowhere. I was never there to take them to the marketplace. Very few times I got the time. So the relationship between me and my wife was so stagnant that I lose consideration for them. Because I was told by the lead minister, they are my family and my wife and children as my enemy.
That's what they told you?
They told me that.
So they never tried to say, well, bring your wife and your family, let's counsel you all together, or talk to you all together.
No. Before that, I should take my wife off and on by them. But they treat me real good as a friend, but they should treat her as a servant.
In what way?
Well, they used to ask me to carry clothes for she to wash home. Or if they had to cook or anything, they ask her of certain things she to cook and carry for them.
For them?
Yeah.
And where did the cutoff point came for her? Why she say, well, because it apparently like she said, hey, I'm not going there, when you insist that you should go there?
I believe the cutoff point is that one day when the parents' house is built now, and I went across there with me and their wife. They introduced me to their friends and family as Isaac for best friend.
Right.
And their wife, they didn't introduce her properly in the proper manner.
So in the introduction, they were like not saying this is your wife.
It is my wife, but they become their sofa and do some kind of thing.
But they would not.
No, they didn't appreciate her.
So they weren't introducing her in the sense as if she were your wife.
Yeah, that is why they, but they never really consider her, or to show
Okay.
her affection or show her welcome.
At that point, how that felt to you? How?
To tell you the God truth, I was so blinded. I was so blinded. I really couldn't see more. I couldn't see obstacles. I couldn't see problems. My family passed through a very, very hard time. I only knew that after I got deliverance. Then I get to know when my eye opened, and I believe my mind was in cage. I couldn't think as free as now. It's then I get to realize that my family struggled to meet it. They struggle to meet it. My son is going to mix concrete together, shouldn't in the pocket. My children and then my wife began to work. She began to work. She went to America and work, and she sent the money for my children to go to university. And she was a husband and she was a mother to the children. Although she was not there, although she was there, I went away to work and send money for the children and for them to survive and to go to school. It never affected me. Like I had felt that where I was, that was everything to me. I lose feeling for my family. I lose everything that a father is supposed to have for his children and his wife. And it never bothered me. But thanks be to God, after deliverance, I get to realize that we are one and how my family suffered. How they scraped through life to survive and to go to school. They went through a hard time. But because of the honesty of my wife for her children, she worked very hard. When she came back from America, she started working as a chef in 2 food places to make ends meet, to see that her children is up to mark. But it's something so beautiful that I observed from her. Since the day I married this woman, she never cursed me one day in her life. With all these bad treatment for 22 years to 25 years, all these years, I was never wrong. She never taught the children to go against her parents or father. Never yet. None of my children never disrespect me. None of them never threw things in my face. When I come home, they welcome me. When I go again, when I come back again, the same children, they would only looked at me and looked at me with sorrowful faces because of my foolishness. Because I could not pick it up that my children were suffering. They went through a hard time.
We are going to speak more on your early time in life with your wife when we get back in our next segment. Because it's some years. Well, you mentioned that 20-something years, right? And in spite of how far someone is gone, we can see that God is able to bring you out of any situation. So guys, we see how interesting this life story is going. We are going to go much deeper into the Ramkissoon's life, and join us again on DRM Inspired, the talk show that inspires you in the ministry of deliverance. when we continue on our next segment.
Informing nations, supporting people in real, effective deliverance. Inspired.